I would almost guarantee you have never tried a mobility workout like I'm gonna show you today. And today we're gonna be using not the bands, but the cable machine to do a total body mobility workout. So if you're anything like me, you like lifting heavy weights. And mobility work kind of just sounds like stretching. But today we're gonna turn it on its head. And we're going to use the cables and resistance to do a mobility exercise like you've never seen before. So one thing we gotta think about when we are getting into mobility work is that we are trying to increase strength through an entire range of motion. The key word there is that we are trying to build strength, right? It's cool that we can kind of go through a full range of motion like if we're just stretching or passively getting into it, but being able to control it is how we can actually use it in our everyday life, in the gym, and especially on the golf course. So let's get into it. This is gonna be a follow along workout. I'm gonna go through all the exercises just one time. I'm gonna give you weight recommendations, and then at the end, you can go through it 2 to 3 times in total. So I'm gonna take you through 4 exercises in this workout, and I'm only gonna show you on one side. Again, just for sake of time, you don't need to watch me do both sides, 2 to 3 rounds. And what I recommend before you jump on any of this is go ahead and do some cardio as a general warm up. You can get on any machine you like, or just jog, walk, get your body warm, and raise your internal core temperature, so that way when you get into mobility work, you're not super stiff and cold. So first up, we are going to work on the hips. And we're gonna start with a hip opener. So I've got a mat here for my knees, because some of these are gonna be down in a half kneeling position. So down on my knees, we're gonna work on the right hip. We're actually gonna work on both hips, but we're gonna be going towards the right here. What I wanna do is grab a handle, and we're going to set up. And I'm going to be in what is like a kickstanded half kneeling position. So this left foot is back behind me and my right foot is kicked out. So now I'm kind of in this straight line here. My hips are open. When I get here, I have to push forward, squeezing my glutes. And then before I even start, I wanna make sure I push this knee out by engaging my right glute. Now I'm going to dive in. I need to get further back. So now, before I dive in, I kick that leg out, activate the glute, slowly go in, and then drive back up. Using my entire foot down there, always trying to make sure you're trying to keep your chest turned, so that way I'm kind of just gliding down. And every time you reopen that knee, engage the glute, core tight, chest tall, slowly dive in as far as you can. Feel that big stretch. Try to squeeze with your groin, all right, to pull yourself in and out. So I'm gonna push off the foot, but I wanna activate the insides of my legs to really pull myself back up to the top. So, about 6 to 10 reps there. Again, since we are using the cables, I want you to play with the rep ranges, just like strength training, all right? We can go heavy and do less reps, or we can go lighter and do more reps. You can train for more endurance, you can train for more strength. The higher end of the rep range is gonna be more endurance focused, and the lower end is gonna be more strength focused. I recommend doing both. Now we're gonna work on the upper body. So we're going to need much lighter weight, because your upper body is weaker than your lower body, or it should be if you're relatively balanced. Now again, this half kneeling position is gonna come up a lot today. One reason is that it allows you to be super stable, right? If I'm standing, I lose some stability. I can start getting mobility from places I don't want, maybe my lower back. But if I'm in this half kneeling position, I get a really good activation through my glutes. I can keep my core tight and just stay in good posture. So now I'm going to reach down and grab this handle, and we're gonna bring it up into a 90-degree position. So it's where my arm is at a 90-degree angle here and 90 degrees. Then what we're going to do is bring it up, rotate back. Again, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the abdominals. That helps me keep my lower back nice and strong, because if I cheat, I allow my upper body to do this, bend from my lower back. We don't want that. Core tight, press. Come straight back down. Slowly rotate. Drive up and press. What I want you to think about when you do this press is that if my arm here was stuck between 2 walls, I would only be able to go straight up, straight back down. Good external rotation of the shoulder. You feel the shoulder blade staying stable. Reach up nice and tall. Again, for that one, 6 to 10 reps, same thing. High weight, low reps, strength, low weight, high reps, endurance. Now the next one, this one I just learned recently, and I freaking love it. The hip airplane is one of my favorite mobility exercises. So this is an awesome one for if you are just doing body weight only. So if you are turning, loading, so I wanna think about pushing back through the hip, loading, turning. Now I'm going through external rotation, keep this back leg a little straighter. And if you've watched some of my videos before, I've used this a few times. Now, we can load it with the cables. So again, lower body can handle more weight. So this one's kind of tricky, so I'm gonna put my hand behind my back, like I'm going to, be arrested, I guess. Then I put the weight here in that hand, and we're gonna be working on the opposite, on this leg. So if the weight is in my left arm, I'm bending it across to the right side of my body. It's like right off my right butt cheek. And then I'm gonna grab my right hand onto something stable. I could grab this part or this. Doesn't really matter as long as you don't get your fingers caught in anything. Now we're gonna go into that same position. So I'm in that hip airplane, but now the load is pulling me. I'm gonna get just a little bit closer. Now the load is pulling me. I'm able to load, really feel that left hip, left glute. I'm gonna think about pushing my foot into the ground and opening with the hip. So now I'm taking my left hip into external rotation. Push it as far as you can, hold for a few seconds, come back down, and repeat. 3 to 5 seconds at this end range. Turn. This one, I would keep it a little bit lower rep range, just because you're kind of working 2 parts to that. And that would probably be more of like a 4 to 6 rep, 3 to 5 second hold on each one. Again, a really, really great exercise you can do on the cables. Now, we're gonna go back to the upper body. So 2 upper, 2 lower. And this one is a version of a book opener. Back on our kneeling position. And I like to take the handle and clip off and just hold the little, I don't know, we'll call it that, the little ball. It's probably got a more appropriate name, but that's what I'm gonna call it. Again, it's gonna be lighter because we're working on the upper body. And from here, have the attachment set up, as I'm standing here, I'm reaching straight forward. That's gonna work, that's a pretty good spot. Then from here, what I'm gonna do, again, adding more support is sometimes the best because if I wanna focus on a good amount of torso rotation, I wanna be supported, okay? So half kneeling position. You could play with the leg stance. I've got the left leg up right now, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rotate, turn as much as I can. What I want you to think about here when you do this one, keep the elbow, a micro bend in the elbow here, grip this little ball thing. Probably should have figured out what this is called before I jumped on here. And the focus is not just the arm. There's just my arm going. That's not what I'm looking for. I wanna see the torso turn. All right, so if I wanted to take a panoramic view of the room with my sternum, I'd go like this. Big turn of the chest. As much range as I could get. I like to also think about if I had my name written all across my back like a jersey, I'd be able to show this wall, whoever's standing over here, my full name, even if it was really long. So 6 to 10 reps here. Big turn, stay in good posture, that big chest rotation. Like I said, do everything that I just showed you on both sides, 2 to 3 rounds. I think this could be really something that'll level up your mobility, maybe get you out of a rut, maybe you really learn to love mobility training. I've really learned to love it, especially because when you can add resistance to it, so it kind of blends the 2 things I like. I like lifting heavy, and I like feeling good, and I like moving better. So this combines both of them. And I think if you've never tried mobility training like that, it's really gonna open your eyes to the benefits that you can get from it. So if you like this video, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe down below.